Welcome viewers, round 5 Sim Racers Asia here at Monza, and there's a lot of attention on the GT3s this week. We've got the Blackhall Endurance Series starting in just over an hour, but to build that hour up, we've got some exciting racing here for what is the Sim Racers Asia Championship, and we're here with iRacing, Brenton O'Brien with you, with Jake Blackhall. Jake, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Brenton, and welcome viewers. Yeah, we're here for a wonderful Monza, a little bit of a preview to what we can expect today in the Blackhall Endurance Series, but we're here for Sim Racers Asia, and at the moment we are in qualifying, late stages of qualifying at the moment. Tobias Cherney sitting on provisional front row at the moment. The track temp is 45 degrees, a little bit of wind in the easterly direction, 6 kilometers an hour, so hopefully the track won't be that hot for Blackhall tonight, but this is a good little feeder to what could be an interesting race.
Yeah, it will be. We've got plenty of time left, so plenty of things to discuss, no doubt at all. Really looking forward to this race. A few dramas last week at Sonoma, and it would appear that a lot of that has been sorted. Looks like a few questions have been raised from what I understand. But yeah, because we've got so much time, we've got an opportunity to nice and serenely go through some championships here in the Clubman's Championship. We've got Alex Marshall for Apex Racing UK and Daniel Leet equal on 107 points. So the BMW and the Angry Birds Mercedes neck and neck there. Gary Cousins, who missed last round, has come obviously right back to the field. He's just 1 point off. So between the top 3 in the Clubman Driver Championship, there's just a 1 point. Lachlan Crowe for Delta Sim Sport in the Mercedes, 91 points. Then there's a bit of a swagger of cars here. Chris Pauly, Lance Hawes, both in the Audi 77. Simon Jorge Sanchez, Martin Silvasi, Min Park and Zaszek Frazek for Eurasia Sim Sport in 10th place on 54 points, going over to the Pro-Am Championship. This is the I guess maybe you want to call it the open field, however you want to look at it. Anthony Winkelman in the BMW. This guy has just been a star, I reckon, in this series. The BMW has been down quite a bit at some tracks, and he's been able to drag it up to a higher position than what it needs to be. 156 points for Anthony Winkelman. Just the consistency, 39, 39, 55, 22.5 from our sprint race last week. Mick Hammond in second place, 121, so 35 points behind. He only got the 4 points in at round 3, so that's going to burn Mick later on. Jason Bentz, the Laser Racing teammate, also in the Mercedes. Simon Feigl in the Mercedes as well. Didn't race in the first round. 107 points. Tobias Cherney, we spoke about him, quickest so far. Also 107 points. And Kevin Huang for Archipelago Racing, 106. Nathan Grouden, 96. Danny Conlon, Paul Lonergan, and Jake Maloney will round out your top 10 on 84 points there. And that will feed us on, last but certainly not least, to the Team Championship. Laser Racing leads that fairly convincingly, it has to be said. 340 points in front of Marquee One Racing Korea, who had an outstanding round 1 with 149 points in one race. So they got over half their points in one race. They've fallen a bit by the wayside since. They just have an 8-point lead over Green Hornet Racing, Evolution Racing Australia, who didn't compete in the first race. 247 Archipelago Racing, the Privateers, 6 Delta Sim Sport, Angry Birds, and Rensport on 176 each, and rounding off the top 10 would be Eurasia Sim Sports. So some exciting championships going there.
Yeah, some very exciting championships. It's good seeing the mix of the field and looking at now in qualifying. So Cherney's doing really well at the moment on P1, and you've also got Anthony Winkelman, who is leading the Clubman Pro Championship, Pro-Am. He is in 6th at the moment. So he's doing a good job, as well as Alex Marshall down in 13th. I don't think that'd be where he is, but he is in the BMW, so maybe struggling this week. But yeah, really a lot of mix-up grid today, and it may just prove to be a little bit of a difficult track here, like especially with the way the track is around here at Monza. It's difficult to overtake in some cases, especially through the chicanes. You can get it down the inside, but if the car holds you on the outside, they can still make a benefit from it, as Muhammad Ali Ishak goes P1 in the Archipelago Racing McLaren. So he's showing a lot of great speed this week.
Say that with me, Archipelago.
I will bet against
Archipelago.
that.
Archipelago. Yeah, so I'm being surprised. I just watched the BS official race just then, a 3-hour race, and yeah, look, some different drivers there, obviously, and different quality of field with some of the drivers warming up for what will happen in exactly 1 hour's time. But the BMW won by 40 seconds, which was really, really surprising. Ruff came in second place. I think there was a bit of a swagger of Mercedes-Benz after that, but I was really surprised with the speed of the BMW. But yeah, they don't have to fuel save at all. So in there, again, for this, they don't need to fuel save. It's just a stop, go, turn your fuel off, turn your tyres off, and away you go.
Yeah, that's right. And it's what we're seeing at the moment. I'd say that's where the McLaren's pace is actually now starting to come to the top, especially with the top two spots covered by Mercedes. And you got a Simon Feigl in the MPMS ERA, Mercedes splitting another one of Kevin Wang in another Mercedes, and then an Audi, and then Anthony Winkelmann in a Mercedes, in a BMW. Sorry. So it's a little bit of a mix-up in here with the type of cars up front, which is good to see. It's what we want to see in the GT3 series. We don't want to see one car dominating everywhere, but at the moment, it definitely looks like it's a little bit of a McLaren fest up top. They're separated not by much, 2/200ths of a second, P1 and P2, but then they're about 5/10ths behind them is Simon Feigl in the Mercedes, so it's a bit of a gap.
Yeah, it is. Muhammad Ali Ishaq. He showed some early pace last week, got caught up in a few dramas. Tobias Cherney, who I'm trying to think if he's been a previous winner here or not. I don't think so. By saying that, in the BS Pro qualifying series last year in the aborted Monza race, he actually had put it on pole position. So he does have some genuine pace around here. Simon Feigl, who has done a lot of laps here this week, a lot of laps practice. Expect some good things from Simon. Kevin Huang in the McLaren. I think the McLaren is the favoured car here, has to be said, and if anyone can get near that McLaren, they've done a great job.
Yeah, that's right. And seeing these guys get up there and start to show that McLaren pace, it hasn't been as strong as I would have thought in the past couple of rounds. Obviously, it wasn't as suited to it. The Mercedes definitely coming to the forefront. The Audi dropping away a bit to the wayside, especially with the way that car is. I just don't think people are starting to get a grips of that car as of yet, but it'll come to the forefront and it'll start to challenge, but it's still there. It's just hanging around. It just hasn't got this pace of this new Mercedes, which really seems to be the car that everyone's going for at the moment, and could be that car that just sort of surprises everyone and just knocks off this McLaren, which could be one of the guys up the front that we see take tonight's race and the BES Pro Series.
Yeah, so I'm just having a look at Anthony Winkelmann here, having a look what he can do. 6th position at the moment, a 1:48.991, 8/10ths off of our pole time. The thing is here, we've got still 3.5 minutes of qualifying to go, is the advantage of being in the draft is significant, isn't it? And I didn't see Muhammad Ali Ishaq's time, whether it was draft assisted or not, but at the moment we've got Alex Pohl in the car 099 and Daniel Leet. And Daniel Leet in the car 3 up to 19th position has had a pretty good run in draft so far. His best lap so far are 1:50.586, so 2.4 seconds off of the pole position, but probably expecting a bit of an improvement here.
Yeah, it looks like he got a good draft there from Alex Pohl in front of him. So if he can get a good run through here, which is actually his run wide on the entry to Ascari, so that will not help his lap time here, and he'll have to try and go for another one, which will be undrafted. He doesn't have anyone in front of him for a little while, so he may just have to see what he can pull out of his bag in the final lap without draft. But yeah, draft around here really can change up the times. I don't think I did see Muhammad Ali Ishaq actually get a time with draft, but it's... yeah, a little bit of draft assistance can easily boost you up, especially when the times are sort of close from about 5th on backwards. The times are really tight there. There's a couple of tenths separating them from about 5th on to about 10th. There's only about 4 tenths there, so that's not much, and you get a little bit of draft. You can easily jump yourself up there.
Yeah, you can. No time recorded there for Daniel Leet. Unfortunately, Lachlan Crow and Simon Jorge Sanchez coming out of the pits now. Just having a look, Yazri and Yali, who's had his fair share of incidents. I've had a good look at the incident videos that Kevin Wang's put out this week, and Yazri's name's come up a couple of times, and again, brake 2 deep into turn 1 there. Anthony Winkelmann has got himself a good start to this lap. A 49.139 last lap is not an improvement for him, but he's got another BMW at Chandra Yong in 12th place in front, so good opportunity here for Anthony Winkleman in the car 96 to make a bit of a gain.
Yeah, he could maybe make a bit of a game, push himself maybe up a couple of spots, and I think he sort of would be very happy with his position at the moment. Obviously, everyone wants to be on pole, but in the car that he's in, the BMW, he's doing a great job in 6th. You don't have to worry about anything with fuel, so he's got a good starting spot, especially last week. He was started a bit further down and got caught up in all that mayhem that happened. Well, actually, he didn't. He managed to drive himself through that, but it was sort of where he didn't want to be at the start, and he was able to get through it and put himself in a good position. So if he can sort of start his way a bit higher up, like he did at Okayama a couple of rounds back, where he was actually P2 on the front row and was able to hold that one behind Benjamin Smith, if he can do another good solid job, he could definitely start to strengthen his championship grips.
Well, as he goes through and exits Ascari, and he's got Chandra Yong in front, a really, really good exit here. He's going to have a fantastic slipstream, and even Chandra Yong himself is going to have a good draft here from another lap car. Whether he wants to make this pass, I don't think he will, but certainly significant gains here. Looking at the understeer that's going to be created through lack of draft through Parabolica here on the exit. A 148.991 was a previous best time as Winkleman crosses the strike. Now 48.636. So there is that improvement up into 3rd place.
Yeah, and he's done that right on the brink of the time limit, jumping all the way up into 3rd. It was a great time. It's put him into a great position. The position that he would have wanted was all 3 of the BMWs come into trouble into the first turn there. So that was unfortunate for them just after the time went out. But yeah, great job there from Anthony to get it all the way up into 3rd at the end.
Well, Jake, that I think there might be some cars still with the flag is out, but there's still a few cars out there putting in a lap, but Mohammed Ishak has certainly stamped his seal of approval on this. I'm just trying to have a look. Yeah, Tobias Cherney on the exit of Parabolica here. Looks like it's been a pretty good lap. His last lap of 48.9 or 48.180 is his best time. Good draft. Let's see if he can take that pole. No, he can't.
Yeah, just looks like he didn't get the lap. Maybe had a little bit of a mistake there and couldn't get it done. So yeah, just unlucky there. Still starting on the outside front row, so he's still going to be happy.
Yeah.
Still a couple of cars coming across now, coming around the final corner, but I think that's pretty much it.
Well, Daniel Leet is going to be one of those cars. We saw him before. Gene Newell. I'm not sure his Gene's got a lap time in. No, he doesn't. So any time's a good time for Gene, they say, as he crosses the start-finish line, and no time is a bad time for Gene, unfortunately, and Daniel Leet pits. So I'm thinking that it is all over Red Rover.
Yeah, I think that is it. And just having a look. Yeah, I think Muhammad Ali Ishak actually is still coming around. Don't know whether this is an out lap or a fast lap, but...
No, I think he crossed afterwards, and I don't think it's going to, well, it won't make any difference to the positions anyway. So, whilst you've got 50 seconds up your sleeve there, Mr. Blackhall, I reckon you get into it.
Yeah, I'll run through the final qualifying results here from round 5 at Monza for Sim Racers Asia. So on the front row of the grid, we have Muhammad Ali Ishak with Tobias Cherney on the outside, Anthony Winkleman in 3rd with Simon Feigl in 4th for the Mercedes, Kevin Wang in 5th with Matthew Trotman 6th, Michael Hammond 7th with Danny Conlon in 8th, Fanny Lazardi in 9th, and Yazen Yali in 10th. The rest of the field is on your screens, and it's a massive field again. There's a good 40-odd cars here today, so looks like it'll be another interesting race, Brenton, especially into that turn 1 chicane.
Yeah, there always is a bit of interest, isn't there? And looking forward to seeing what comes of that. Cars are going to be gridding up shortly, but... look, it's going to be an exciting race. There's guys here like Mick Hammond, who actually was the winner of last week's race at Sonoma through good qualifying and a good result in the race. Expect some good things from him. The experience of Tobias Cherney from pole position last week, got taken out in early doors last week's race, so expect again some strong results from him.
Yeah, I expect him to be up there as well as Anthony Winkleman. Watch him. He is leading the championship. He he's had some strong results, and especially last week was able to stay out of the way of everyone and got a good result. He's definitely in a better position today where he doesn't have to avoid everyone and could just try and sit out front with these guys in front, especially with the draft. The McLarens are going to be fast, but if he can sit there in the draft, he can definitely hold on to them. And if that, as soon as that elastic band breaks, he'll be dropping back to the rest of the field. So you'll want to stay as close as he can and stick with them for as long as possible.
Yeah, so just that outlap here, fuel won't be a problem. 45-minute race. Probably expect 24 laps to be completed. I would say maybe 25. So it should be a good race. Who's your pick here?
I'd have to go for Tobias Cherney. That experience, I think, will prevail here, and he's driven that Mercedes for McLaren, for a long time, and I think that will be my pick. I think he's got a good chance of starting on the front row.
Yeah, it's not the worst pick in the world, is it? Yeah, I'd have to probably go with you there, Tobias. And he's just got such good racecraft and brings a lot of experience to the series. What do we got here, Jake? We've got 36, 37 starters. I don't think Brad Wooten, Jake Maloney, Paul Nelson, Division Patashay, and Melvin Menon. I'm not sure if Melvin's joining us. Actually, I think he is, so 38 starts.
Yeah, 38 starters, still a massive field, and it's the only thing that everyone's going to be worrying about is turn one and the first opening lap, especially when everyone's so bunched up together. You got to try and just pick who you want to battle and just sit in behind everyone. It's still a long race. 45 minutes isn't really a short one, and it's definitely not one in the first corner. It's obviously lost there, and a lot of people may try and dive down the inside, try and gain positions, but it could certainly be lost. And here comes people as we start to roll off the grid.
Yeah, and Paul Nelson also starting from the back of the grid, didn't get a lap time. I mean, you would think after 30 minutes you would get a lap in, so whether Paul joined the server late or not, I don't know, because normally you would expect Paul, generally drives the Vodafone Rough, would be up certainly a lot higher than what he is. So nice and easy here. McLaren front row, BMW, Mercedes, McLaren, Audi. I think I saw the first Audi in about 6th place.
Yeah, it's good to see the Audi up front. It's been a while since we've seen one of them up here, and hopefully the field's starting to bunch themselves up, and we'll see what happens when this starts. It's going to be interesting. I reckon Tobias will want to try and get a good enough jump on Muhammad Ali Ishak and try and just get his nose in front and hopefully just try and pull away from there. But this is going to be an interesting, massive field, like I was saying, and it could be chaos. It could be all good through turn one.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have our usual problem here. We've got some guy just continue talking, Gene Newell. Obviously, Gene, if you'd watch this later on, mate, please take the time to read the rules, mate. But we are away. And there's a lot of cars actually starting in pit lane too, so interesting. Yeah,
as we are
Muhammad Ali
here.
Ishak, a fantastic start, a dominant start. That's an outstanding start by Muhammad Ali Ishak. It's all about the draft though, Jake, and I'm sure that you can tell us all about that, but it doesn't look like too many dramas so far.
Yeah, no, definitely not many dramas at the moment. Looks like the field's sort of being very calm at the moment. Tobias Cherney down to third. Anthony Winkleman got a great start from the second row of the grid, so he's put himself into a good position. But yeah, the draft, so important, driving all the ovals and that. I definitely know a little bit of thing about the draft and how it works, and trying to get especially in the draft and figuring out what you want with your car to work. And that's going to be a major key here. You'll see whether some cars may have some understeer in the draft, but at the moment it looks like we're pretty clean up front.
Yeah, and there's a few cars in pit lane not moving, so I'm not sure what's happened there at all. So, and also Jake Maloney did start as well, and he's got, who's that just in front of him? Is that Gary Cousins, I think? So the winner of the race from last week, not the round, Jake Maloney, from 33rd on the grid, I think he started, has already found himself a significant gain.
Yeah, he's stuck in a lot of traffic though. It's interesting to see him not put a lap in, especially after last week. He did have pace, unless that was a bit of a repercussion from last week, but I don't think it was. There was nothing brought upon that. So I think he's just trying to work his way back through the field, but you would have thought he would have put the time in. But at the moment, Muhammad Ali Ishak's got a great start. But Anthony Winkleman, Tobias Cherney, everyone else is still in that draft, and he hasn't been able to gap them.
There are cars on their roof back here. Who's that? Oh no. Mark Lang, our host, is just the guy cannot cop any luck at all in this series, and I'm going to have a guess and say what's happened here. Who has hit him in the back? Is that Carlos Fu? Yes, it is. So Carlos Fu into Ascari has absolutely Liberace'd Mark Lang, and Mark does all the work into this series. I would love Mark to get a decent result, but Carlos, that's amateur hour.
Yeah, that was very much amateur hour, and it's unfortunate for Mark. He always gets caught up in this stuff that he doesn't need to get caught up in. It would be nice to see him have a clean race for once, especially with all the hard work he puts into the series. He does a great job of putting it on, and it's definitely one of those series that a lot of people are getting involved in, and it's definitely one to watch out for the future, and it's unfortunate with these incidents that he keeps getting into.
Muhammad Ali Ishak in the meantime up the front. These guys are already close to lapping cars, remarkably. I find that really remarkable on lap 2. Obviously the young fella in front, Tai Tran, has had some issues. The driving standard over the last couple of weeks has been remarkably poor, I must admit, and it's something that will need to be severely looked into.
Yeah, it's been pretty poor over the past couple of rounds, not going to lie. There's been a couple of moves that shouldn't have been happening, and especially the one that we've already seen with Mark Lang. It's unfortunate that stuff like that has to happen. It should be a clean series, and there's a lot of good drivers in here as we're looking up front. We definitely have some clean races, and when the races are clean, it produces great racing. And Tai Tran nearly came in front of Simon Feigl.
And then even pushes him wide.
Yeah, like, wow, that was
seriously.
Poor.
Where is the relative and where are your mirrors? And he's just absolutely hacked into Simon Feigl's car there. Let's have a look at the lap time of Feigl here, 49.9, and how much time. He lost 9/10 of a second in that one corner alone, and now puts himself under severe attack from the Archipelago Racing's Kevin Huang. And, well, come on. What is going on there?
Yeah, I don't know what that was. He just lost his brake and actually hit the back of Tobias Cherney. So he has got a lot of rear end damage at the moment. Hopefully that doesn't hurt the car. The wing looks alright. It just looks like it's bent up in the left rear. But yeah, that was poor driving right there.
Yeah, so Tai Tran has even... I don't think he's even tried to stop. He didn't put his... I tell you right now, there's a lot of guys out there who are just jumping in this to race and not doing a single second of practicing, not doing a single second of reading the rules and regs. And yeah, our host Mark Lang does a wonderful job, but you need to sift this out a little bit because it's affecting those who turn up week in, week out and do a great job and support the series.
Yeah, that's right. I think some people need to really be looked at and just be brought to the forefront and say you guys have got to sort of pick your game up, or sorry, but you can't do this because it's sort of hurting everyone else. And I don't know how bad it hurt Tobias Cherney. He's lost a lot of ground to those front two there. I don't know whether that's in correlation to the rear end. Shortcut, okay,
yes. Got a shortcut. Having a look at the battle for the lead there, Anthony Winkelman with Muhammad Ali Ishak. Neither of these guys, I don't think Winkelman's won a race yet. Certainly has been very, very competitive week in, week out. That's why he leads the championship, but he is all over the back of Muhammad Ali Ishak at the moment.
Yeah, he found some pace in qualifying. He didn't have a lot of pace in practice, was 13th, but he's found a lot of pace in qualifying and race. He put himself third, and here he goes trying to get this lead. He's going to be right underneath that rear wing of Muhammad Ali Ishak. He could have a look down the inside of the McLaren, but he's going to put the defensive run on. It's a bit early to be doing that, but he's allowed to do that. He's not overly blocking. He's just running the defensive line and wasn't able to get it done there. Anthony Winkelman just dropped in behind, but he's still in that draft and he could have another attack all throughout this lap.
I'm just wondering whether that BMW ran out of horses, though, to be honest with you. I'm not sure whether it had the legs to finish that job off, or whether he's just very, very comfortable sitting behind at the moment.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. He has another little look going into the second chicane. He may just be trying to conserve where he's at the moment. Obviously, you don't need to take fuel or tyres in this one. It's just come in the pits and stop and go. And so he may just be trying to conserve a little bit and get his car sort of sorted towards the end of the race. He definitely had a lot of pace last week. Was able to hold off Tobias Cherney for a good solid 6th position. So he may just be trying to set himself up for later on in this race.
Yeah, a lot of experience. In what Tobias can do, and there's already gains made. The more that these two fight at the front. Obviously, Tobias will make that ground pretty quick, as will Kevin Huang. Simon Feigl, after being tripped over by Tran a couple of laps ago, or a lap ago now, so he's fighting his way back, and he's got some company behind with Danny Conlon, who I reckon Danny swapped cars here. Unless he's just changed liveries, but I reckon he swapped cars. I remember him driving, was it the BMW a couple of rounds ago at Spa? I'm pretty sure it was. So Danny has swapped cars, which if he's got permission from Mark Lang, happy days. If not, well, I believe there could be a penalty involved, but that's not for us to say. And yeah, and Michael Hammond in 6th place, and that's what we were just thinking there with Anthony Winkelman just calling out for a few extra horses, because he's always in a great position to make that move, but yeah, he's just run out of horses.
Yeah, he's just crying for more horsepower. He wants some more straight line speed. This McLaren definitely has it all over everyone else at the moment. There's battles going on everywhere. Looks like Simon Feigel's all right behind them, but at the moment this is Tobias churning on the inside of Anthony Winkelman, using that horsepower. He's going to get that position done, and he's going to move himself up into 2nd. And after all that work that Anthony Winkelman's been doing all over the back of Muhammad Ali, Ishaq has now dropped to 2nd. Muhammad's got a penalty, I think. Shortcut penalty, yep. So he's lost the lead, so Tobias is now taking the lead, and this will help him. He had the pace early on, he caught those two. He's going to have Anthony still behind him, so Tobias is going to be not having anyone to draft without in front. So beware that Anthony could definitely start to have a couple of looks.
You can see it happening slowly in front of us, though, can't you? Anthony generally bats well above his average with that BMW, which we talked about before. But the McLarens are coming to the front. 1st, 3rd and 4th. Not so long ago they were 1st and 2nd. Obviously with Muhammad Ali, Ishaq making that mistake. And I think Simon Feigl behind has...
just got a penalty.
I'm not sure whether he had a shortcut as well. So he's now got the McLaren of Fani Lajerty, who is always a constant supporter of this series, has been here every single season without doubt, and it's great to see Fani back to back with that McLaren.
Yeah, he's doing a good job in another McLaren for iRacing Steam Sports, so he's doing a good job now all over the back of Simon Feigl, who got a shortcut penalty the last lap coming into Ascari, I think it was, so interesting place to get it, but he got one. As this battle for the leads, it's just tightening up now. Oh, they were getting close there. They're very close. All this draft is bringing those other McLaren. Don't know whether Tobias and Anthony just hit, but Tobias has run wide on the Exeter turn 1 chicane, and it's given Anthony the lead, but I would be sure that one of these McLarens is going to definitely run around him quite soon.
Yeah, they will, and there's some good racing actually further back. Oh, who's that? Sorry, Bruno Cardoso. Looks like he's had some issues there for Archipelago, and looking at Lachlan Crowe with Daniel Lee and Gary Cousins. Gary Cousins, a former leader of this championship, wasn't able to be at Sonoma. It's 17th position at the moment. It's probably not where he's aiming at being, but he's certainly on the recovery. 22nd on the grid, made himself up 5 spots, but a good little battle here with Daniel Lee and Lachlan Crowe.
Yeah, good battles all throughout this field, and that's what this track can sometimes bring, especially with the draft. It can just tighten a lot of people up, and especially this little battle here coming on from about 10th on 9th, 10th and 11th. You got Martin Silvassi, Nathan Grouden and Alex Marshall for Apex Racing TV. So these sort of bunch of cars are nicely close together and could definitely start to closen up as soon as they catch the back of Martin Silvassi, and the draft will start to close them all up.
Yeah, they will, and I'm also looking at the battle here with Jean Newell and Simon Jorge Sanchez. I've got a feeling I'll be watching these two niggle away as they're coming up to us, go in 21st and 20th position. Looks like finally Sanchez is going to give way to Newell there. Sanchez carrying a little bit of damage now, so the front end, I think that was just not from that long ago, so that's certainly affected his straight line speed.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a little bit of damage. There's a couple of cars in this sort of mid-pack with a little bit of walking wounded at the moment. Adam Utri as well behind them. So he's got a little bit of damage as well. And Tang, he's got some damage to the rear end. So I think a lot of these cars have got just some damage walking wounded at the moment. But Muhammad Ali Ishaq has taken back the lead while we were looking through the field. So he's taken it back to Tobias Cherney. So Anthony Winkelman couldn't hold on in that BMW up front.
No, you couldn't. Just if you just take the wheel for a while, I've just got a few things I'm sorting out with other things, so it's all yours for a sec.
Yeah, all good, Brenton. So we're going to have a look now. This battle up front is definitely starting to heat up. So we've got Muhammad Ali Ishak in front of Tobias Cherney with Anthony Winkelmann in third place, and Kevin Huang is starting to close up as well behind them. And a little bit of a battle going on between Michael Hammond and Danny Conlon. Danny has moved up into P5 in front of Hammond. So the number 1 car, Michael Hammond struggling as Danny's actually, he's just got loose off the exit of the second Lesmo and has put it in the fence. So he was running so strong. Bit of commentator's curse there, I'd say, from me, starting to bring him up, and he's had to park the car off the track there. So unfortunate, just got loose on the exit, picked up a little bit of the AstroTurf, and it just swung the Mercedes around into the fence. So it sort of let Michael Hammond off. He's sort of in his own little land at the moment. Simon Feigl is starting to recover behind him. Will be now in P6. 7th is Fanny Lazardi is just a bit further behind, and he's starting to drop back to Martin Silvassi, Zach Schaller, Nathan Grouden, that little battle pack from before. As we see, Zach Schaller is on the inside of Nathan Grouden. He could be able to get this job done down the inside here in the Audis. He couldn't get it down there enough, so that's actually Nathan Grouden moving up into the top 10, but out in front, this sort of battle is starting just to wind down as it's Anthony Winkelmann, Kevin Huang. Kevin Huang's having a look down the inside of Anthony. Anthony's going to leave him some room, but he's going to hold it around the outside, going to get that job done. And so he's going to hold on to P3. Kevin Huang wants to get up and battle with those other 2 McLarens in front of him. Definitely looks like the McLarens have the more of the straight line speed, more horsepower at the moment, as actually Anthony Winkelmann struggling to keep up with the back, and Huang's going to go to the inside here into the second chicane. He's going to get that one done. So move Kevin Huang up into P3. So 1, 2, 3 for McLarens at the moment, with the BMW of Anthony Winkelmann sitting there in 4th position, with Michael Hammond now with Simon Feigl for company for P5 and P6. Simon's definitely started to close up to Michael Hammond the past couple of laps, so this could be a battle that could just start to unfold. 2 leading Mercedes definitely trying to put what they can do up here. They're not as fast as the McLarens out in front, but they want to sort of try and work together here and try and get as much of a ground as they could. They did have Danny Conlon for company, but he managed to have a little bit of an error last lap round, so he's had to retire from this race, which is unfortunate to see. And just looks like Hammond maybe a bit stronger through Ascari, just gained a little bit of time there. So looks like Simon's definitely searching for some draft. Looks like he's just trying to hang on to the back there, but can't do it. But just having a little bit look further back now for this battle. This battle heating up from 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, I think it is, all the way back to Alex Marshall and Nathan Grouden at the moment and in the BMWs, as that is Zach Schaller having a look on Martin Silvassi, couldn't get it done, so he put his nose out, thought about it, thought better of it. And actually a car that's closing on them quite quickly is Jake Maloney, started in 38th position, so from all the way down near the rear of the field, he's already up into P12 in that TTL Kazakh Mercedes. So doing a great job here, trying to work his way all the way up to this front pack. Getting a good top 10 result from this will be a good result. And just this battle is heating up here. Savassi on the defensive from Zach Schaller in the Audi, doing a great job trying to hold everyone off. It's sort of bunching the pack up, and it's leaving the door open for a lot of these cars behind them, especially as they start to work through some lap traffic. And just having a look here, I think we've got Alex Marshall and Nathan Groudon's got that one done on Alex. So just swapping of places non-stop here. And as just looking back up to the front, the lead battle has changed once again. So Tobias Cherney has now taken over the top spot ahead of Muhammad Ali Ishaq. He's moved down to second. Yep. And they've sort of dropped Kevin Wan and Anthony Wicken. And welcome back, Brenton. The battles are heating up right now.
Yeah, they have, mate. And as you can imagine, the amount of chat and responsibilities I've got in the background at the moment certainly heating up as well. It's great to see so much interest in the Australian teams for the Blancpain Endurance Series. But back to this, I'll tell you what, Anthony Winkelmann is just praying that he can stay on the back of Kevin Huang's car, because if he doesn't, and if he loses touch and gets out of the draft, which he is in imminent danger of doing within the next few laps, then he is going to fall back into the clutches of those chasing Mercedes-Benz of Simon Feigl and Mick Hammond, who seem to be working together fairly beautifully at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like Simon was behind him, was catching Michael Hammond the past couple of laps, but it looks like Hammond let Simon by. Obviously realised that Simon was the quicker car, going to use him to an advantage. Actually, no, he's going to pull out and try and take a move here. So Hammond on Simon Feigl going into turn 1. He's on the inside, going to brake really deep there, going to have the rear twitching around, was able to get the car stopped. So a good job there from Hammond, moving himself up another spot into P5, but that'll continue to change there. So Anthony's just hoping Kevin Juan can sort of pick up the little bit of a draft that he can get from the two in front and just try and pull himself all the way back up to the front. But he's definitely in the position where if he just starts to lose it, one little mistake and he could lose it altogether.
It's no mistake racing here from Winkelmann. If he makes a little bit of a mistake there and gets an off track, or sorry, a slowdown, it's going to be lights out. He will fall into the clutches again. But he's doing, I tell you what, I think if you're going to ask me who the driver of the day was at this stage, I'll be handing it to Winkelmann, because he's getting that BMW up there in places it shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's right, Anthony Winkelmann. Last week he did a great job as well to hold off Tobias Cherney in this car, especially Tobias being such a veteran of this sort of series and car, and especially being able to do that. And then today as well, he's holding on to these McLarens in a BMW that totally shouldn't. And we've seen earlier on he was trying to overtake them, and just the BMW has no legs, it couldn't do it. So to be able to stick with them right now, he's in a great position, he's doing a great job. The only thing that could hinder him is when they do their pit stop, he'll have to follow them in.
Muhammad Ali Yashak there at the exit of Parabolica, so much sideways action there, and he will drop significant amount of time. He's gone from 1 second behind, he is now 1.0 seconds behind. He as driver chat's been disabled, thank you Mick, because there was far too much chat. Have to say 50.444, Kevin Huang 49.8, so significant gains there. And again, the two cyclists back here, they just keep swapping over with draft. 51 flat though for Simon Feigl. I'm not sure that's what he's after, but gee, he got an unbelievably good drive out of that first chicane. It really is for Winkelmann whether he can hang on to these three McLarens or not.
Yeah, that's right. And like I was saying, he'll have to pit with these guys in front of him, otherwise he will lose that draft. You will sort of want to try and get in with them and follow them in, because if he sort of sits out by himself, he will lose that ground. And he's just hoping and praying that they sort of follow his strategy, or he can follow them, because he doesn't want to let it go. And if he does, he will fall into those clutches of Michael Hammond and Simon Feigl. The only thing, he's doing a great drive right now. He's using this draft to the greatest possibility that he can. He's keeping himself in a good position.
Yeah, he is, and Jake Maloney has left us for I don't know why. I didn't see any incidents there. Maybe 11:30. The server for BS is probably open, but getting back to this, Winkelmann, he's done such a sensational job. Like he said, he was asking for some more horses before. He's not going to get them, but those three McLarens, including those two Archipelago Racing McLarens, it's obviously going to be fantastic for their points result as a team. As this race goes on, we're already on lap 11, coming up to the end of that, starting lap 12.
Yeah, we're already about halfway through, just coming up onto the halfway mark, 20 minutes into this race now. And yeah, it's good for those two, Kevin Wan and Muhammad Ali Ishaq, doing a good job for Archipelago Racing, for their teams running in second and third. And also, you got to think Anthony Winkelmann's doing great as well with his teammate Nathan Groudon. I think their teammates have got the same sort of car livery, and I'm just trying to look for their team name at the moment. I'm a bit lost with that, but yeah, those two are doing a great job at the moment, so good solid points for them. But Martin Silvazzi in front of him is doing a good job. He hasn't had some he's had some strong results, but hasn't been up inside the top 10, so it's good to see some new faces starting to push up here.
Yeah, it is, and like I said, it is good to see. Sorry, mate, I've got so much going on at the moment. It is good to see some new faces, for sure. Just having a look back, Martin Zavasi, yeah, it is good to see that. Nathan Groudon, teammate of Anthony, yeah, so I think isn't it Kevin Huang in the car 212 is having some issues here with the lap car. And this lap car, Melvin, is a bit of a handful. Whoa, he is a bit of a handful.
Yeah, he's all over the place. He should have given him room.
Yeah, so he has finally given him room, but I think Melvin's pings through the roof. Yes, it is at 700, so some issues there.
Yeah, massive issues there, and it ultimately hurt Kevin Huang's race and Anthony Winkelman. They both sort of lost that draft of the leading two, so all of a little bit of traffic can play into this, and that's where some of the driving standards needs to come into play. He needed to move out of their way as soon as possible. It looked like he held them up for way too long and ultimately hindered their race. And yeah, I can tell you've got a lot of things going on, Brenton. We all know what's coming up as Anthony Winkelman actually comes into the pit, so as well as Kevin Huang. So they both come in trying to get their stop out of the way done now after their little mistake with the lap car.
Well, how's this? Tobias Cherney made a 2.2 second gain on Muhammad Ali Ashik last lap. 2.2 second gain. So Ishak is now out of the draft. That is an absolute game changer there, and you know, that's a massive setback. And let's have a look at where they come out of the pits. Anthony Winkelman and Kevin Huang. So actually a bit of a change there. So Huang is now behind them. It looks like they'll come out in a clear track. Yes, they will, which is significant.
Yeah, it is. That's what you want. You want to get that clear little traffic. But yeah, Anthony Winkelman got him into the pits in front of Wang, so there's no actual change from position in the pits. So no one really lost any time. So no, you're right, Brenton. There's a lot going on at the moment. We're all excited for what's to come up next. We all know. But we got this race here, and yeah, he had a little mistake there before coming into the pits, Wang, with that lap car, and it actually hurt him a lot more than what it would have, and Anthony got around him, so that sort of really hurt him, and he just wasn't able to gain that time back in the pits. He's still there all over the back of him though, but they've come out in a little bit of clean air and could maybe just start to not to have a play here up front.
Yeah, just having a look at Alex Marshall here. We've got a really good battle here. Martin Silvasi, Nathan Grouden. So Nathan in 8th. Martin has been passed for that position. And Alex Marshall for Apex Racing. A really good battle here with the car 89 and the BMW. Again, just hanging on to the tail of that big Mercedes, led by a BMW, Nathan Grouden, who had some dramas early on, it has to be said. 17th on the grid, up into 8th. Yeah, there's been some pit stops. But looking fairly strong is Nathan Grouden, teammate to our series leader Anthony Winkelman.
Yeah, doing a great job here. It's good to see these BMWs still mixing it up, especially with the Mercedes. It's good to see the parity and understand what's got what benefits here. It definitely looks like the BMW has some good cornering abilities, but the straight line speed is where it's really lacking as Martin, they're trying to get around that lap car again. And Martin had so much more legs on him, especially with that little bit of draft assistance. As he runs a bit wide for Apex Mafia Racing, he's going to have Alex Marshall just going to start to have a look, but he can't do anything about it down these long straights with the lower horsepower that these BMWs have. They just can't get around him in the top end.
Whoops, sorry, let's not get confused. Apex Racing is not the same as Apex Mafia Racing. One's based over in the UK for Alex, and Martin based at the Gold Coast in Australia, hence the Gold Coast Titans livery there. So yeah, these guys now up into 5th and 6th, yes, with pit stops we know, but still putting in a really solid job.
Yeah, that's right. And Michael Hammond pitted as well, so he was up with Simon Weigel. He's dropped down into a little bit of an air gap at the moment. Not much. Couple of car lengths to the car in front. Dickie Lee in the number 91 BMW is in front of him in 9th from 20th on the grid. I'd say he still has to make a pit stop, so he's just in a little bit of an air gap there at the moment, and you may want to try and gain a little bit of ground on Simon Weigel, but at the moment Tobias Cherney is just starting to pull out a gap. He was able to drop off Muhammad Ali Ishak the past couple of laps and is now pulled out to about a 5-second gap over him as Muhammad stays out as well. So just a massive gap that he's got at the moment, and he's just going to continue to eke that out before the pit stop.
Tell you who's also able to pull out a gap is Anthony Winkelman over Kevin Huang. That's a significant gap at the moment. It was the saying only just over the 1 second last time across. Well, certainly a lot more than that now. Having a look at the car 96 up into 7th position. Watch out for this guy. I'm thinking now the way he's stamped his authority since the pit stop, he's certainly looking at a podium position. Disregard the last lap, but it's now a 1 minute 50.1. Having a look at Kevin Huang, a 51.4, so a 1.3 second difference there. Certainly traffic related.
Yeah, especially with the traffic that they're around at the moment where they came out. They've got a little bit of lap traffic that they already filtered through when they were up in front, but obviously they're starting to filter back through them again. But I don't know whether, actually, I'm just thinking Anthony Winkleman may be in a good position here to challenge for P2, because Muhammad Ali Ishak has actually dropped a lot of ground to Tobias Cherney, like I was saying, 5.2 seconds down on him at the moment. So overall, Anthony Winkleman could be pushing for a little bit of position here as we're looking down in P22nd. We got Alex Pearl and Daniel Leet here putting on a great show down here in P20th, 20, 21, 22. They're all battling here in Mercedes.
Yeah, Lance Hawes, the community rules fencing car, just shadowing these, isn't he? He's got the Simulate IT car in front, and Delta, and who's that? Alex Pearl? No, sorry, Daniel Leet, straight lining that, and that's going to interfere in the community rule fencing. BMW is looking very, very menacing there, and looking at the drive that he gets off, I know Daniel would have got a shortcut there, no doubt. He can back out of that as he goes right around, is it Raskas there, and I reckon, has he already cleared that? I'll tell you what, if he has, he's done a pretty good job clearing it that quickly.
Yeah, he's done a great job if he was able to clear that quickly. It just showed the straight line speed that he had. If he was able to clear a slowdown and get around him, he's actually going to have another look on Alex Bowl. So he's going to try and get this position back as soon as possible, and he's going to get that one done. Yeah, Curva Grande, Brenton. Brenton's in 500 different worlds at the moment with everything going on at the moment. It's a big night for Brenton. He's got to manage Evolution Racing Australia for their first Pro Series attempt here, and it's good to see teams in Australia starting to put their name, especially with TTR, Mad Cow, and Direct Clutch Motorsource. It's definitely a big thing going on tonight, and it's just playing on Brenton's spine by the sounds of it.
Well, it's funny because all of a sudden there's about 40 different people, some of them I've never even heard of before, messaging me going this, that and the other, and I'm like, come on. So look, I'm so wrapped that on behalf of the Australian iRacing community that there's so much interest out there in the BES, but we'll do it after the race, boys. I can only get to one at a time.
We've still got the good race here for Sim Races Asia at the moment. Tobias Cherney just getting around that lap traffic well, just having a look. There's an Audi spinning in front of Muhammad Ali Ishak. Is he going to hold the brake? No, he doesn't. Muhammad has to go on the grass, and that is a prime example of some of the standards that need to be looked at. You should have held the brake there. Couldn't get a name there. I've actually lost him on my monitor.
Chandri Shan, I think.
Yeah, I just lost him.
Choi Hyun Chui.
Okay, sorry, yeah, he's just come back now, so obviously I lost him with everything going on, but yeah, so we may have lost a lot of ground there. Tobias Cherney still staying out about 30-minute mark at the moment, and actually he's lost a lot of ground. He was now, it's 4.1 seconds, so Tobias was a 1 minute 52 last time by to a 1 minute 50.7 from Muhammad Ali Ishak, so we lost about 2 seconds there. So something obviously happened to Tobias with that lap traffic and wasn't able to get around it as cleanly as Muhammad was, even though he went through the grass.
Pretty consistent that with a shortcut, I would think. We've got, what are we on, lap 17, we're about 31 minutes into the race of what is a 45-minute race, so still a lot of action to go here. Just trying to have a look at those who haven't pit: Tobias Cherney, Muhammad Ali Ishak, Simon Feigl, Nathan Browden, Marshall Silvassi. So the first of our pitters, Winkleman. I tell you what, I don't think you're far away here, Jake, with your earlier comment in regards to whether Winkleman will get that chance to get Muhammad Ali Ishak. Sorry, he will certainly be around the ballpark.
Yeah, especially with like little bit of mistakes here and there from Muhammad Ali Ishak, especially with the draft, with lap traffic. Sorry, just getting in the way a little bit here and there and everywhere. And if he can, he's just starting to creep it in, a 10th here, a 10th there, and he still brought it down. So I think it's about 30 seconds of a gap here at the moment between Winkleman and Muhammad. So if that little gap there just starts to shrink that little bit more before the pit stop, it could lead to just that overall swap of position, and Anthony Winkleman will be loving that, because that's a great positional gain that he's able to get out of this. Just having a look, I want to see whether Tobias Cherney pits this time. I don't think he will. I think he'll stay out. He'll want to lead a couple more laps, which he does. I wonder whether Ali Ishak comes in now, but he doesn't. He's just staying out there, which could ultimately hinder him. We'll see his lap time as he crosses the line of 50.391. So that was about the same sort of pace as Anthony Winkleman's last lap by. And Anthony hasn't had any draft or any other cars around him, so he may be able to get similar times. But if he's just running a similar pace, he's dropped off Kevin Wang, could just benefit from it.
The one who suffered the most out of the early stop, and let's face it, they don't need to take tyres, they don't take fuel, so we're not worrying about undercutting here. But Mick Hammond, his lap time since he's been out of the pits are way off where he was before he came in. He was doing 50.7, 50.4, 50.6. Since then, a 52.3, a 51.4, and a 52.5 coming across the strike now on the end of lap 17, and it's another 51.164, which is his fastest lap since he's been out of the pits, but still off pace. This is a guy who was battling with Simon Feigl. He's now in ninth position. Tell you what, his pace since has been fairly off pace. Whether it's been caught in traffic, don't know. But the car number one certainly going to need to pick up some speed to get himself back into this.
Yeah, that's right, and he was actually losing ground to Simon initially. Simon had a little mistake, but was able to pick up the time and got back around Michael Hammond, and then they just sort of started to swap positions due to the draft. So I don't know whether Hammond actually had any, maybe just doesn't have any outright car speed at the moment. He usually is pretty good with the car and is able to get a grips on it, but obviously today everyone has been practicing everywhere and everywhere. Like every team has been getting it. All the drivers we know are pushing to get as much practice in as possible and help with setups and that. So obviously Hammond hasn't been focusing as much this week, and maybe it's just starting to just hurt him a little bit in overall car speed, and he may lose touch to Simon Feigl when he pits.
Yeah, he may do, and the clock is coming down. Like I said, there's no advantage for the boys to be pitting now as Simon goes across the start-finish line again. Just saw Paul Lonigan and Mark Lang. They've had just nowhere races, haven't they? Also, Nathan Groud and Alex Marshall. These guys haven't pitted yet, and they've got Anthony Winkleman, who I said continues to impress. And behind them, we've got Kevin Huang. I'm surprised Kevin hasn't picked up Winkleman, I have to say. He is in the superior car for this track. It's, maybe not overall, but certainly for this track. The McLaren is certainly the bigger tennis racket, and I would have thought he would be up to him by now.
Yeah, he just hasn't had, like I was saying, overall car speed to sort of get there. Maybe a little bit of lap traffic here and there that haven't been helping Kevin Wang, but he's still in a good position. He gained about 4/10 the last time by a 50.9 Kevin Wang to Anthony Winkleman's 51.3. So a little bit of time gain there, and he can start to get into that draft. As soon as he gets in that draft, it will ultimately help the McLaren, especially with the greater top-end speed that it has. So you'll start to really win in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, you would think so, and like I said, once he's in that draft, it would just accelerate things massively. Tobias Cherney, in the meantime, very, very dominant. We said at the start that he was our pick for this win. There's no reason for us to be changing our minds at all, because he's going great guns at the moment. Last lap of 50.4. Just thinking he must be getting a bit itchy in regards to pit stops here. Doesn't look like there's any intention for him to stop. No, there isn't. So he's going to keep going. And why shouldn't he? He's got a nice clear track in front of him, no traffic to worry about. And a 50.1 on the last lap.
Yeah, he's doing a good job out in front. And just had a look back, as I was saying, talking about Anthony Winkleman, he got to slow down and had to hand the position to Kevin Huang. So we've maybe just given him a bit of a commentator's curse there. He's lost that position to Kevin Huang now. He's in the draft, though. He didn't lose as much time as we would have thought. He did lose the position, but he's still in the draft. He just won't have the greater legs than that McLaren to be able to pick up the spot. Don't know how good the McLaren is on its tyres compared to the BMW. I'd say they're pretty equal, so may not have a little bit of benefit with tyre wear towards the end, but that will start to play out.
No, the McLaren's a pig on its tyres. Don't worry about that. The BMW is a lot lighter and a lot better on its tyres. But by saying that, Anthony did all that work to get out of the draft and get up and away of Kevin Huang. We've now got back to a McLaren. Well, effectively, it's going to be McLaren 1, 2, 3. I know we've got Feigl, Groudon, Marshall, who have not pitted yet, but upon them pitting, no doubt the McLarens will be 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so just having a look. I just had a look now. Michael Hammond just came in the pits as we're looking at Daniel Lee and Lance Hall. So I'm unsure as to what's happened to Michael Hammond. He's had to come in again, so he's lost a lot of time there. As Lance Hall's down the inside of the Mercedes coming into the final corner. He's made contact with him. He wasn't far enough up. He's actually hit Daniel Lee. He's got to hold the brakes there. He's got to hold his position. He's trying to get to the outside of the track there, Daniel Lee, and he's done that. So he's going to have to try and flick the car around from there. But a good battle there between Lance Hall. Just was a bit eager. Still on the inside. Just got him clipped as Tobias Cherney, actually the race leader, coming through to lap Daniel Lee now. And I'd say that no, he doesn't. I thought he was going to come in the pits there, but no. So unfortunate there between Daniel Lee and Lance Hall.
Going to be really interested after that move with Lance Hawes and Daniel Lee as to who gets the pen. If there's going to be any consistency. Poor old Daniel Lee's in for a bit of trouble. I don't agree with that, but that's, you know, if we're going to chase consistency, Daniel might have an issue. I don't think so, but let's see how that goes. What it has done is put himself a lap down now on Tobias Cherney.
Yeah, if previous incidents show
Jake.
that could
I've said enough.
We will leave it at that though. Going back to the Michael Hammond incident, I'm unsure as to why he came back in the pits. May have been an issue with his like I was saying, he didn't have ultimate car speed, and something may have just been awry with him at the moment. But he's lost a lot of ground. There's an Audi to his right as he just goes past. So still having a look and wondering what's going to happen there. But having a look at this battle between Martin Silvassi and Chandra Yong is very close at the moment. I think Yong is coming in the pits. So good result here for Martin Silvassi. He has pitted and he's sitting in P8 at the moment, just behind Alex Marshall, who's not far in front of him.
Yeah, he's done a real good job. Not sure he's pitted. I think he must have by now. Yeah, Kevin Huang and Anthony Winkleman in the meantime continue. I think it's one of these times with these two guys, unless Kevin makes a mistake, I can't see that Anthony's going to get a ray past him, because there's just too much power, straight line speed with the McLaren MP412C, and I can't see that BMW successfully making a pass unless there's a problem with Kevin's car in front.
Yeah, he's sort of going to be hoping for a mistake at the moment with Kevin, which is not what you want to be doing, especially in this late stage of the race. We've only got around 10 minutes to go as the leader, Tobias Cherney, is in the pit. So here we go. Let's see whether Ali Ishak stays out. So he will cross the line with 38 minutes 34 done on the clock. So not long left. We're under the 10-minute mark. So Tobias Cherney coming down pit lane. He should be able to come out in front of Kevin Huang and Anthony Winkleman comfortably and retake that lead. So I'd say Ali Ishak will come in the pits. A great stop there from
Yeah,
Tobias Cherney. Just got it done right on his marks, and out he goes again with a comfortable gap. I think he's even going to come out in front of Nathan Groudon. So he's done a great job there to get that one done.
Yeah. Very, very clean, very, very efficient, and you'd expect that with some German engineering that Tobias Cherney has in his brain. There's no doubt he's a seasoned racer, and yeah, that was picture perfect, wasn't it? And that's why he wins races. That's why he does a good job every week, and just the little things like that. It's a stop, go. It sounds hard, but he hit his mark perfectly and then got out of there.
Yeah, he did a great job, and that's what you want to do. That's textbook, and I think that's why we did pick him at the start of the race. You know what I mean? He's got that precision and experience under him that he can go out and win races every weekend if he has a good car underneath him, and he can do that. He's shown that. He's shown car speed every week, and if he can get it in the position that he'd like, he can ultimately come away with a win, and he's doing that today. Obviously, there's still a little bit to go as we look back at the battle between Zach Schaller and Yarzen Ali in the Archipelago Racing McLaren. Another McLaren.
Archipelago. And we've also lost Fani Lazard. He had a incident in his McLaren. He was starting to work his way through the field, got himself up in the 9th position. Looks like he's had a bit of a lose, lost the front end, and Fani Lazard will be a DNF, which is a shame. He's done a few laps. We're on lap 22 at the moment.
Yeah, so this battle's starting to heat up for P9 and 10. Just wondering whether Ali Ushak is going to come in the pits. He doesn't, so he stays out. So there's not long to go, under 5 minutes left in this race. So interesting, you're going to leave it to very late.
Yeah, we've got a spinner, the Audi of Bruno Cardoso, who's quite a few laps down, I think 2 laps down, spinning it in parabolic. Comes out in front of, was that Winkleman he came in? No, Nathan Groudon. So he's up and away now. Doesn't look like any damage is caused.
Yeah, just had a little spin through the final corner and lost a little bit of time, or lost a lot of time there. Lucky that Nathan Grannon was able to get through. Just having a look with the pit stop with Cherney, lost about 20 seconds. So in comparison with Simon Feigl, I'm thinking Simon may have jumped Winkelmann and Wong. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that could be something that could be looked out for too. So just going off to the pit stop time of
Simon
Cherney.
pitted?
No, Simon hasn't pitted yet. So
Yeah.
when Simon... actually, no, Simon just pitted the last lap and he's actually gone behind the two of them.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a slower stop there. Sorry, I just didn't catch that. But he's not too far away. He has gained some ground on them.
Here's a question, maybe before you're even born, Jake. I don't think it was. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Last lap, British Grand Prix, Michael Schumacher had to do a stop-go penalty for an incident. And on the last lap, stopped in pit lane, then proceeded through, went across the finish line to win the Grand Prix whilst in the pit lane on exit. I wonder if you're allowed to do that here in this race, whether you're allowed to stop, if you're at one of the tail end of the field, stop and then proceed and cross the finish line and stop in the pit lane. Certainly worth looking into.
Yeah, I do know that race. I can't remember the year. I think I was very young, but I have watched a lot of the old F1 stuff because it was more interesting. But Muhammad Ali Ishaq is coming in, so he's pulled his card right at the end. I don't know whether he would have been able to do that in the case of his pit stop stall actually being after the start line. So that's an interesting one, though, to think of for other races. But he's come in, done a great stop. And Tobias Cherney is going to retake that lead, so he's going to take P1 away as Muhammad Ali Ishaq is coming back out. And I don't know whether Winkelmann and Wong have not got that time up, so they've lost a lot of time with their little battle, and ultimately this battle will continue for P3 as Nathan Groudon also pits.
Yeah, so we're certainly in the closing stages of this race, and it's been interesting, hasn't it? Winkelmann and Kevin Huang, they've certainly been chased down by Simon Feigl. I don't think Simon's going to get to him, pretty confident that he won't. But, we've said all along, if Winkelmann loses the draft of that McLaren in front, he's going to fall down and down and down. But I'm trying to think, where is Tobias Cherney?
I have him out in front at the moment by a good little gap over Muhammad Ali Ishaq at the moment, so he's retaken that lead.
Oh, okay, yep, there he is. Yep, he's gone all the way, yep. So, yes, there he is up in front. I was actually having a look for him. He disappeared on my screen for a while, and Muhammad Ali was showing that he was a clear race leader, but not the case, as we are certainly in the wind down of this race.
Yeah, I'd say they'll be getting the white flag when they cross the stripe, so he's done a great job, Tobias Cherney, to retake that lead. It may actually be 1 or 2 more laps to go. It's hard to see with this time certain finish races. It's sort of, as soon as it finishes, you got to figure out what the way it's going to go. But Tobias Cherney has driven an amazing race. As soon as he broke that draft, he was able to pull away and has just done what he does in this McLaren and has shown the experience this week. And I think that's what you needed around Monza.
Yeah, it is, and that's what we've said before. It's been so convincing in the end for Tobias, but he's probably done more miles here than anyone, except for maybe Simon Feigl this last week. So it's great to see Tobias up running strong after the dramas of Sonoma last week.
Yeah, it is, and just having a look now as the sort of field starts to... This is sort of the final field after all the pit stops have been done. Nathan Groudon from 17th on the grid. He's going to be, I'm thinking, P6. That is an awesome drive from him to sort of make his way through the field, get into a solid result, especially to help his teammate Anthony Winkelmann in the team's championship. It's a great job from both of them to be up there in a BMW that ultimately is not the clear favourite for this track.
No, exactly right, and but we are on the last lap. The white flag has come out, and Tobias Cherney doing a wonderful job. And just with you, gee, it's hard to go past him now as the driver of the day, isn't it? But this week, isn't it? So we'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah, that's right. So
Winkelmann won it last week.
Yeah, he did. Winkelmann did win it last week.
You don't win it 2 weeks in a row, Mr. Winkelmann.
Yeah, that's right. As just having a look at Tobias Cheney, and actually there was a battle going on between Alex Marshall and Martin Silvassi. I think Martin Silvassi got P7, so a good drive from Martin as well in the Mercedes. He's doing a good job. He's got that position done, and I think Tobias Cheney is coming around the final corner now.
Yeah, it's been a dominant race, hasn't it, all along, and he doesn't need to worry about lapping that car in front, Paul Nelson, in the Vodafone rough. But as Tobias Cheney exits Parabolica for the last time for round 5 of the Sim Racers Asia Championship, and he will be a clear victor. Congratulations to Tobias. Well done on what was an outstanding victory.
Yeah, great result from Tobias Cheney with Muhammad Ali Ishak coming in second. Kevin Wang will come home in third, maybe? Yes, no, yes, he did by less than 1/10 of a second over Anthony Winkleman and Simon Feigl rounding out the top 5. Then I think Nathan Growden, solid result. Just having a look back, and Martin Silvassi has clearly got P7 away from Alex Marshall, so a good drive from Martin to finish inside the top 10, 7th. A good drive from him as Yazran Yali coming around the final corner ahead of Zach Charlotte. Zach's going to try and go around the outside, maybe not going to get that one done, especially with the legs of that McLaren. So, and Michael Hammond outside the top 10, definitely not the position he was looking for.
No, it wasn't with the 2 stops, so I'm thinking now that everything's certainly on the wind down. Gary Cousins coming in 12th, Dick A. Lee, Lachlan Crowe, Brian Borg, Chandler Young, Jeff Price, Lance Hawes might have an issue, don't know, with him and Daniel Lee. Actually, well, they want to be consistent. Daniel Lee's going to have the problem, I think. Adamucci, Chris Pauly will round out the top 20.
Yeah, so good race there from everyone. Listen, driving standards once again that need to be looked at, but overall up front it was still some close racing and an awesome job from everyone.
Yeah, it was. Scotty, thanks for your time. I'm ahead of here. I've got commitments. Jake, see it through, mate, and looking forward to seeing next week. Where are we off to next week, do we know?
Interlagos.
Interlagos. Oh, hang on, before I go, driver of the day. No, I'm not going to give it to Tobias because he's won more than his fair share. Yeah, you know, I'm going to give it to Muhammad Ali Ishak. Started on pole, second position. He got chopped up pretty bad by a lap car, and that dropped him off the back of Tobias Cheney. So this week, Muhammad Ali Ishak would be your driver of the day.
Yep, I can agree with that, and thank you, Brenton, for your help tonight as well, being all your amazing work that you do. It was good to have you here, and we got the BES Pro Series, so it's going to be interesting to see that one through. But I'll run through our final results here from round 5 of Monza for Sim Racers Asia. We have Tobias Cheney taking the win ahead of Muhammad Ali Ishak. Kevin Wang in second with in third, with Anthony Winkleman in 4th. Simon Feigl 5th, Nathan Growden 6th, Martin Silvassi in 7th, Alex Marshall 8th, Yazen Yali in 9th, Zach Shala in 10th, and then the rest of the positions, Michael Hammond in 11th, Gary Cousin 12th, Brian Borg 13th, Chandra Young in 14th, Lachlan Crowe 15th, Jeffrey Price 16th, Lance Halls down in 17th, Adam Utri in 18th, Daniel Leet in 19th, rounding out the lead lap cars, the rest of the cars following on your screen. So, interesting race there. A lot of drama as we ultimately head to Interlagos next week, as we will head into some post-race interviews. I don't think we have anyone at the moment. I think we have our race winner about to come up, Tobias Cheney, so we will grab him if we can, maybe not. Yes, we can. So, Tobias Cheney, well done. Another excellent drive today. You got the job done and was able just to sort of break away from Muhammad Ali Ishak in sort of the mid portion of the race and get the job done. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. Hello, guys. Yeah, it was an interesting race, of course, due to the championship series with the GT3s. I think a few guys were missing. And obviously the McLaren is still the best car at Monza. But Anthony did a very good job hanging around Muhammad and Kevin and me for the first couple of laps. And I messed up the start, so I was driving behind Muhammad and Anthony, and I had to look at what they are going to do. Yeah, Just thought I would sit there behind and slowly making my way up, maybe due to the pit stops or whatever. But yeah, then once I got through, due to a very lucky situation that I got past Anthony, and Muhammad got a slowdown immediately, and I was directly through from to one first. But at the next lap, I had a small contact with Anthony. It wasn't even shown, but I guess so. I guess he didn't even notice, and it was also not on purpose, which sent me a bit in the gravel. And both of these guys passed me again. But it was very good fun. Top driving at the front.
Yeah, it looked like it was great driving out in front, especially in that McLaren had just that straight line speed, and you were able to hold off Anthony multiple times. But as soon as you sort of gapped Muhammad Ali Ishaq, from then on out, you just sort of just cruise to the finish there. You didn't have much hassle there. You sort of got him away from your draft and was able just to comfortably take the win today.
Yeah, I was lucky due to the lap cars that there were 2 or 3 where I made a better pass or was more lucky, and then the gap was increased, and from then I didn't push the car too hard. I was more in cruise control mode. Was a bit worried about a few lap cars because there was one lap, I don't know, towards the end, 10 minutes ago, where suddenly a car was appearing in front of me, and the spotter told me a slow car, go left or whatever, and he was blinking and driving slow, and it was very difficult to judge. Also, there was one situation in the chicane. I don't know the the very fast one. Ascari, I think it is. Yeah. There was a car standing, and I approached it slowly. Yeah, I saw it, and then it started moving, and I had to squeeze through between the car and the walls on the left, and I lost 2 seconds or so. So it's really a shame that this kind of things happen, because I mean the car is stationary. Gotta wait a few more seconds until the track is clear, and then he can move, or he reverse into the gravel, which would also be fine. But turning on the racing line isn't a good idea, and I guess also others got caught up by this.
Yeah, a little bit of the lap traffic definitely just sort of played a little bit of a hindrance. It was sort of just trying to make your way through them without as much time loss as you did, and you did that well tonight. And next week we move to Interlagos. Hopefully we see you there. What do you think of that track, especially with these GT3 cars, and how will the McLaren go?
Well, it is quite a good track also for the McLaren, I would say, at least part of it. So the long straight definitely suits the McLaren, and also the first couple of corners aren't too bad. The infield, of course, is where we probably will struggle a bit against the BMWs. I have no idea about the Mercedes and Audis, so I expect to be quite a equalized conditions for all cars. So it will be interesting to see how also when the other guys who are missing today come back, how they're all going to do.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be interesting to see. And well done once again on your victory today at Monza. It was an amazing drive. You did a great job. Was able to hold him to the victory for most of that race, especially after the crazy start. Anyone we'd like to thank before you let you go?
Yeah, I hope this time my skin was shown on the on the broadcast. You saw last time it wasn't there. So anyway, one of the things. Thank you guys. Want to thank Mark for running this league. It's been awesome running here since I don't even know how many seasons. Always entertaining, and it's a good time slot for us here in Europe as well. So most of the guys are really nice fellows, good racing all the time, and we try. My brother, I try to get my brother back to the racing next week. Should be fine, I guess, so that he will be there as well.
Oh, it'll be good to have both of you and your brother here next week. Hopefully you can finish 1-2, but great job once again, Tobias. Excellent job, and well done. Hopefully we get to see you next week.
Yeah, thank you, Jake. Goodbye.
Next up, we have Anthony Winkleman. Anthony was a great drive once again, Anthony, up into P4 at the end of it. Struggled to hold. You did a good job, actually. Not struggled, but the BMW wasn't giving you that straight line speed to battle with those McLarens, but you did an excellent job able to hold on, and only came 1/10 away from snatching P3 from Kevin Huang.
Yeah, evening, boys. That was an interesting one for sure. It was nearly impossible to to compete with the Maccas. It was straight line speed was a ridiculous difference. I was on like -1 wing and it still did nothing. So it was a lot quicker through them sections, but then there's no point passing them because they're just going to chew you up down the straight. So you sort of just to be patient and sit behind them, and then to be just mauled by more Maccas.
Yeah, it was sort of the way of play was the McLaren was always going to get you on the straight, but you were able to hold on for so long with them, and you got caught up with a little bit of a lap car that hurt you and Kevin there, and you lost the pack, lost Muhammad and Tobias in front of you, and it sort of just put you into no man land where you and Kevin had to battle for third throughout all the way to the finish.
Yeah, look, we had a great battle, man. I had a couple of little incidences with Kevin. One in particular through a scary there. I just waited for him to get close enough and then let him go back through just to do the right thing. And yeah, it was the only thing I could do. Like I was definitely had the more pace through the corners, but then yeah, like I said, it's just a patience game around there. I'm surprised that we could put the BMA anywhere up. I think Nathan ended up 6th, which is a great result as well.
Yeah, you and Nathan definitely did an amazing result in the BMW with a track that's definitely not suited towards, it's obviously suited more towards the McLaren. But next week you move to Interlagos. That could be a track that could be a bit more suited to the BMW, so hopefully you and Nathan can maybe move a little bit more towards the front.
Oh man, to be honest, I think we've all got our hands together praying for a track where the beam is going to be competitive. But no, look, it was good racing up the front. Looking forward into Lagos, but just the straight sections. You sort of, as soon as you exit and get onto the straight, it's just more of a cringe and hold on, and hopefully you get some patient people behind you that don't really want to throw it up just in draft.
Yeah, just hold on and hope and pray that you can hold on for the position for the next straight and take the next section of corners. So it'll be interesting to watch. You will still have the championship lead. I'd say you were strongly in front of that coming into this round. So next week you should be able to hold on to that. But a great drive, just finished off the podium, but to do it in that BMW was still well done. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Just the boys from Green Hornet Racing, Paulie and Nato. You guys for doing the broadcast, and Mark for hosting the season. Hopefully we can continue to have some good racing and delete the rubbish.
Yeah, that's definitely what we need to sort of have a look at. But well done, Anthony. Great job. Great talking to you. So that was Anthony Winkleman finishing in 4th for Green Hornet Racing in the BMW. And I think that sort of wraps it up today. So well done to everyone. Thank you for watching. Scott Newton, once again, thank you for directing in the director's chair with the cameras today. Brenton O'Brien was here obviously earlier, leaving early for Blancpain Endurance Series, which will be on now. So go have a look at that on RaceSpot TV. But here from Apex Racing TV, we are going to say goodbye from round 5 action of the Sim Racers Asia Championship Series here at Monza. We look forward to seeing you next week at Interlagos. Goodbye.